Hello out there. My name is Cody Fry. I'm going to take you behind the scenes of my song Flying, which is from my record Flying. It's very confusing. So I'm assuming you've all heard the song, so I'm not going to play the whole thing or anything. But I thought it would be fun to start actually with the original writer's file that I used to kind of write the song. This is what that looks like. And just really quickly, I wanted to play the ending because when I went back, I saw how different this song could have turned out had it gone this direction. As you can see, there's no orchestra. There's lots of drums for some reason. Anyway, always interesting to see how something could have turned out. So I'll flip over now to, this is now after we decided to put orchestra on every song. I set about writing and orchestrating the tune. And what I like to do when I'm orchestrating is do like a full, what's called a MIDI mock-up of the entire orchestra. And so that's what this file will be. This was sort of like the trial run for how the orchestra would hopefully eventually turn out. So this is the file that I used to mock up the orchestra. You can see this, all this stuff here, that's what a MIDI orchestra looks like. And I'll play it back for you. So this is with everything here. If I solo this up, this is what a MIDI orchestra sounds like. Not quite as cool as a live orchestra, but it just kind of helps make sure that the ideas are sound. And for me, it's just helpful down the road as well, because you can use these MIDI sounds to sort of enhance the live orchestra and make it sound a little bit thicker. Also fun, in here you can see some of those original elements from the writer's project made it into the session, but they never got used. So you can hear that sort of like 4 on the floor kick drum thing with the snare, but we ended up not using any of it. These synths here made it into the orchestration. You can hear them, they kind of play this sort of like same ostinato as the strings do eventually, and kind of help it to just sound a little bit thick and kind of enhance the string texture a little bit. All right, so let's close that, and let's see, I've got the mix file here. So this is, the file after we recorded the orchestra, after everything was finalized. This is the Pro Tools file that we send to the mixing engineer, who then, mixes the song, obviously. That's why they call him a mixing engineer. So the piano for this song was recorded at Blackwatch Studios, which is in Norman, Oklahoma, and Chad Copelin, who's a producer, he helped me produce this album and is just so talented. And he's got this amazing Yamaha upright. And I love the piano sound so much. It's a upright piano with the celeste pedal engaged, which is sometimes called the practice pedal. It's kind of this locking pedal in the middle. And what it does is it lowers a piece of felt across all the hammers. So it's like between the hammers and the strings, this piece of felt lays right there. And when you play it, it's like playing a blanket. I first heard the sound there's a film composer named Thomas Newman, and he scored the movie American Beauty, and so much of the score is that sound of a felt upright piano, and it's just such a cool sound, and it really is like playing a blanket. So much fun to play, and Chad's got a great one, so that's what this sound is here. You can hear we got woodwinds now. I wasn't sure if we were going to use that texture at the front. I just thought it might sound a little hokey, but what I wanted it to kind of be is like sort of the woodwinds are kind of fluttering and flying and giving you the sensation of like maybe a little bit of wind, sort of kind of a breeze. So all these tracks here, these small ones, this is all of the orchestra tracking. So I think there is, let's see, looks like 7 passes of orchestra on this, each going down with, 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 mics on every pass. So right now I have most of them inactive because my computer literally can't handle it when I activate them all. So I'll solo up the orchestra just so you can hear a little bit of how it sounds by itself. So these tracks here, that's the woodwinds and the strings playing the ostinato. And then we have a strings B pass down here, which is an overdub. That's the violin that just came in and kind of the chordal elements. That was a whole separate pass than the ostinatos, which is above. Then you can see the French horns here and the brass here. And the reason that we had to track the brass and French horns separately is because we really wanted them to play out, but we only had 15 strings, which like a regular symphony orchestra would have 40 plus strings, and the brass would just completely blow out the strings if they were playing as loudly as I wanted them to. And so we tracked them separately. Even though they were all in the same room together, we tracked them separately so that they could really play out without totally crushing the strings. So obviously this is how everything kind of turned out. You can see some of those synths made it in from the writer's session. Just to kind of add a weird sound. You can barely hear them in the mix, but... And then here are those MIDI sounds. Here they kind of just thicken up the texture a little bit. Let's jump down here. So this is the French horn pass. Let me just solo them up really quick. I love French horns. So this is what they sound like by themselves. Something you can't get inside a computer. That's gotta have real people to make that sound. Gosh, that's one of my favorite moments on the whole album is just that French horn moment right there. And this is how it sounds kind of in the full mix. So that's a behind-the-scenes look at kind of the process that went into making the song Flying, and I hope it was at least somewhat interesting. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram, and I'd love to talk to you.